Let's bring in Matthew Bryza, former U.S. senior State Department official, joining us now from Istanbul. Always good to see you, Matt. All right, why do so many Americans not have trust anymore in the judicial system? If any court official anywhere in America says we have evidence, enough evidence for a grand jury to indict this person, why are so many people willing to say that's fake?
Yeah, that's a really great question, Michelle. And, there's a societal trend among younger Americans in law schools, for example, where nobody wants to be a prosecutor because they think that's being a representative of the state in a legal sense is somehow not noble. But in this case, it strikes, I think, many Americans that Trump is being nailed legally on a technicality that many other Americans probably wouldn't ever have to face. So, for example, even Mitt Romney, right? Mitt Romney, a former Republican senatorial candidate who really dislikes Trump. He issued a statement yesterday saying that, he voted twice to impeach Trump, right? He said, though, that the prosecutor in this case stretched the felony criminal charges to fit a political agenda. I quote him. He said, "I believe President Trump's character and conduct make him unfit for office. No one is above the law, not even former presidents, but is entitled to equal treatment under the law. And the prosecutor's overreach sets a dangerous precedent for criminalizing political opponents while damaging the public's faith in our justice system." So I think in this particular case, the prosecutor is seen even by people who don't like Trump as having maybe pursued a political agenda.
But on what grounds would they call this an overreach? Because you could look at these charges for anybody else in the world, and you can decide whether, this is just nonsense or a technicality. But these things that are alleged were done in the lead up to a presidential election, which could very well, one could argue, have an effect on the outcome. What if these accusations did come out and that people around Donald Trump didn't allegedly buy everybody's silence? So how is this an overreach in these people's opinion?
Yeah, I think, well, first of all, I completely agree with you. I mean, if buying the silence of these, in this case, at least two women, had an impact on the election campaign, then as the prosecutor accuses Trump, he committed a felony by making an illegal campaign contribution and not reporting it as such. Why Romney and others think this is political overreach? I speculate it's because, again, this seems like such a narrow technicality, although I agree it is a violation of law, if true. And I think that many of Trump's detractors are disappointed in that they thought the case was going to be stronger, was going to have, more legally damaging facts in it. And so that I think they're reacting in an emotional way. But I also think that as the dust settles, and as our country moves on to additional cases like the investigation into Trump's role in instigating the riot on Capitol Hill January 6th, or in trying to reverse the election results in the state of Georgia, or the classified documents that he held illegally at Mar-a-Lago, I think as those cases come to the fore, this one's going to fade. And I think then people are going to be really focused on the integrity of the U.S. judicial system. Notwithstanding our comments at the beginning that there's not so much faith in the U.S. legal system, it's astounding. It's astounding that a democratically elected president of the United States has been brought before a court based on a democratically chosen grand jury who voted to indict him.
That's why I'm glad you said that, because I find it interesting, this argument that Trump and his supporters use, that this is a witch hunt, when you have a grand jury meeting in secrecy, hashing out all of this evidence and deciding, yes, there is enough evidence here to proceed. I mean, what you arrive at is, it seems like, well, they found their witch.
Exactly. I heard some Trump commentators or supporters saying recently, well, it's not fair that the grand jury was able to argue its side of the case, but Trump hasn't been able to. Well, the grand jury is not on anyone's side. The grand jury is just average, normal New Yorkers in this case who were chosen, by lot to stand on the grand jury. So it's the democracy is playing itself out. It's just can be a very messy process.
Yeah, and I feel like so many of these arguments prey on the fact that not that many people may know how the process works. And now, not that many people may even care. All right, Matt, always good to hash it out with you.
Thanks, Michelle.